Welcome everyone to Small Talk. Oh my God, today was the Fed Chair meeting, FOMC meeting, and their press conference. And when the meeting started, there was no mention of September rate cut whatsoever by Jerome Powell. Rather, Jerome Powell said, "You guys should be happy that I'm not raising rates," and that kind of gave market a heart attack because market was not expecting this. Of course, not that many people were expecting a July rate cut, but definitely a September rate cut was priced in. At least 60% people or 64% uh, uh, chance of rate cut in September. But Jerome Powell said that you're lucky that I'm not raising rate, which kind of made the market run down very quickly. When he was asked question why he's not doing any rate cut and why he says that there should be a rather rate hike, he said because economy still looks pretty strong and there is a very well cause of inflation, and I think he's blaming it mostly on Donald Trump's tariffs, and he is kind of saying that we don't have enough data to see what the tariff um, effect is going to look like. I guess initially when the tariff was going to start in April, people thought that they will have 3 months worth of data to kind of look back and decide whether the rate cut is going to take place or not. But then Donald Trump obviously postponed the tariff. He gave them 90 days pause until August 1st, and now we don't have enough data to see what the impact the tariffs have on the economy. And I think that's what is making Jerome Powell wait a little bit longer. When he was asked if the job report on Friday, just so you know, the job report is coming on Friday, this Friday, in 2 days. And when he was asked if the job data looks good on Friday, then would he consider the rate cut? He said, "Well, we'll watch and see." So he's not giving a very clear answer. He was also a little reluctant to even commit to anything at all, which kind of makes me wonder, does he know what the job numbers possibly look like on Friday? Maybe he knows something which he's not telling, and he doesn't want to make any commitment at all. And it also seemed to me like he wanted to give a big middle finger to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has been asking him to cut rates, and he has been saying that he's data dependent. When he was asked about Donald Trump giving him a hard time on that federal building that he's reconstructing, is it because he has not been abiding by Donald Trump's request to, or command rather, to cut the rates? Is this why Donald Trump is suing him? Just so you know, if you're not aware of the situation, there was a Federal Reserve building which needed some upgrading to be done, but the cost of upgrading was way higher because those old buildings have lots of complexities. So it was cheaper for, I guess, Federal Reserve to kind of demolish that building and rebuild all over again. And when Jerome Powell did this, because he's the Fed chair, Donald Trump had sued Jerome Powell on committing an illegal activity on one of the federal buildings in Washington, D.C. So that's what the question was referred to. And he said, "Well, I'm not the one to make comment about it." It's like he did not want to talk about Donald Trump at all. Rather, he was doing everything against what Donald Trump wants him to do. When he was asked if he is going to have, so it just, sorry, I think I already answered that question. I think what it makes me wonder, either he has a very good data, and he knows something. Either we have a surprise that he is going to have very good report for us on Friday or very bad report for us on Friday. And that's probably why he doesn't want to commit to anything. Maybe he wants to give us a surprise that he's going to cut rates, or he wants to give us a surprise that there is going to be no rate cut. Of course, market was expecting that there will be a cut, pause, pause, then cut again, or cut, and then pause. But none of that is taking place right now. So I know Waller was of the opinion that we should have a July rate cut. I'm not sure if Donald Trump has watched his press conference, which I highly doubt that he did. He'll probably get a briefing later on from Waller or maybe some other reps of the Federal Reserve. And then once they tell him what Jerome Powell has said, it's going to piss him off, and he'll probably post something on his True Social as always. He has referred to on his True Social the other day that Mr. Slow or too late needs to cut rates now, because he's adamant that Jerome Powell needs to cut rate ASAP, and Jerome Powell is absolutely not going to abide by his commands at all. It looks to me like there's a cold war going on between Donald Trump and Jerome Powell. When Jerome Powell was asked, what do you have to say about you leaving the Federal Reserve? before even the question had ended, Jerome Powell started closing up his folder and he said, I don't have an answer for you. And he just walked away from the podium. That's the attitude he had. It's like he just wanted to come up very blunt and bold and wanted to give this impression that he is not going to listen to Donald Trump whatsoever and he's going to stay neutral. And when he was asked that what impact the fiscal policy, like, does your decision affect the fiscal policy at all? And he said, well, I'm not worried about fiscal policy. That's not my job. We are worried about the monetary policy, and we have the tools given by the government to uh, decide what we're going to do as far as the monetary policy is concerned. If it's affecting fiscal policy, that's something the government needs to worry about. So he's made it very clear that no matter what the government or the president or the Trump's administration demands of him, he's not going to show any weakness, and he's not going to make decisions based off of what is demanding of him. Rather, he is going to go against Donald Trump. This does not look good on the market. Of course, market didn't like it. Everything just went boom, crashing down. It's like it was a slap on the investor's face, the analyst's face, and of course Donald Trump's face, to be honest. I'm not happy, but at the same time, I'm quite optimistic. I think in the long run, it's going to be better for the market because he's at least adamant to see the market is more stable, economy is stable before he makes any decision on the rate cuts. He's not just going to be pressurized by Donald Trump or anybody for that matter to go ahead and change his decisions and then have a regret later on. And I think that's the right thing to do. In my personal humble opinion, though, you know my opinion, I think he is 2 or 3 rate cuts behind. I think it's time that he should. But again, that's just us sitting on the sideline. When you are in the office and you're holding and you have responsibility to answer to the whole country, I think the decisions are not that easy to be made, and I think that's what's holding Jerome Powell back on his decision. And I think once he gets the clear indication of which way the economy is doing, I think this Friday's job report is going to give him a pretty good idea. Then he will decide one way or the other. He has not mentioned. He was talking about the top line. He's always mentioned about underlying metrics in the past. He has never mentioned top line inflation whatsoever or top line report because we were always of the opinion that they're looking at the underlying metrics and see where the economy is going. And the fact that he has mentioned this once, and he has mentioned, I think, layoffs, not at all. No, maybe once, that's it. He often talks about layoff whenever there's an FOMC meeting and there's a press conference. The layoffs is going to impact. This time he didn't mention that at all. So that kind of makes me wonder. I think he knows something which he's not telling, and he knows that he can't cut rates right now. And because maybe the job report or job data doesn't look good. I think I'm 50-50 leaning on both sides, but my most probably guess would be the job report isn't that great, and that's probably why he said what he said. For the next couple of days until Friday, I think market is gonna be, bumpy. Not expecting much from the stock market to do. So please stay on the lookout, watch Friday morning. I think the job report comes out at 8:30 in the morning, or 7:30 or 8:30. Once I get the job report and I read what the numbers are saying, I'll try to make a small video or maybe small YouTube shorts just so you know what's going on in the job report on Friday morning. So that's that. Market is still will do great, but of course everything affects the stock market. And when Fed chair or anybody in the Fed opens their mouth, it's amazing how much power these people have. They open their mouth and suddenly it just changes the entire country's fate. The economy changes, the market changes. So unfortunately, we don't have a choice but to depend on these people. So I hope this video helps. Please give my video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Until next one, take care and goodbye.